Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Young People in Missions, where we sit with young people doing amazing things for God and for His kingdom in terms of the Great Commission or the Go Mandate. With me in the studio today is no other person but Adelyn, a young, vibrant lady taking the nations not just by going physically but also in the place of prayer. Welcome with me to Young People in Missions, Adelyn.
Thank
You're
you.
so very welcome.
Thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome, sis. It's really good to have you here.
Thank you,
really
ma'am.
good. And let me start by intimating our audience about her. She's a prayer machine. So when you say young people don't pray, I think you're wrong. That's actually a lie because I know someone who is a prayer warrior. This lady is a grown-up. Thank you for all that you do for God and for His kingdom.
Thank you, ma'am.
Interesting.
Glory be to God.
Okay, so let me start by asking you, what inspires your heart for missions?
I'll start by saying it's curiosity.
Wow.
Yes. I have a friend called Vito, and I think he's part of this team already.
Okay.
So I first heard about mission, not that generally though, but about this group. I heard from his status. Like
All right.
I usually hear them that will say he's going for a mission trip because I'm friends with the family. So whenever he says he's going on mission trip, okay, I just try as much as possible to do my part. Like, okay, I'm not going on any trips. I'm not planning on going on any trips, but I just give what I have towards the mission trip until I think 2021.
Okay.
And I think I was one that was disturbing him. Vito, I want to go on trips with you.
Wow.
Like I was just chasing after him. Then he told me like a week before this Wankpoko trip,
Okay.
organized by Elevation Church. So he sent me the flyer, and I think I called you. But then yes, it was your number that I called. So, and you asked me, okay, so and so day we prepared and we went for the trip, and I think that was just the icebreaker for me.
Wow.
Yes.
So how's the journey been so far? You want to share with us some of your mission experience, particularly what has stood out for you most? What's the thing that breaks your heart when it comes to the fields that you've been to? And how do you think we can be a part of the things that you carry as a burden?
I think there's this saying I said when I went for the Togo trip that if Christ could leave his luxury in heaven and come down to this earth to die for me, I doubt if there's any place that I wouldn't go for Christ.
Wow.
So mission trips has opened my eyes to see life and Christianity in different ways. Like I now appreciate what I have in the city because you see people that are living, should we say, I wouldn't want to say a substandard life, but they are not exposed to education, they don't have good buildings, they don't have the kind of education I have. So when we gather them for worship or prayer, the passion is raw. You see rugged worship and prayers. And these people, they don't necessarily understand English.
Right.
But when they shout, Oruko Jesu, like they pray passionately, I don't know what they are saying because there's this language barrier and all that. But the passion for me, if these people could praise and worship God like this,
Right.
I don't know what is keeping us. Like we can still go all out. We can reach them. If it's just this encouragement, go there. Let them know that you have a family here that lives in another country or another community that feel the same passion as you. Irrespective of your challenges, you still have the passion to serve God. I think that has encouraged me to keep going and reaching out to them.
Interesting. And so you aren't into full-time missions,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
But then, what role do you play in terms of missions?
Okay, I support my team whenever we go on mission trips. I support them in prayers. Like there are times that we hold, should I say, a marathon prayer all through the night. Yeah, so at a particular call time, you must be up and pray until the other team stands to pray. So I stand in the gap to pray for the community and whatever God lays in our hearts to pray for.
Wow.
And I also I'm into encouraging other people to see, like I mobilize people to see that they come to the knowledge of the fact that everybody is involved in this commission.
Right.
So when I get back home, I also, okay, this is what the mission is about. So I want you to come out, even if you're not coming per se. You can send your cash. You can send your gift items. Let's send it to the missions field because there are people that are really in need of this help that you are given.
Absolutely,
yes, as
absolutely.
Much as I can.
Thank you so much.
Thank
and
you
so
so
you
much,
heard
Mama.
Adelyn. She said she mobilizes people to get involved in missions. She encourages them to give to the cause. She also mentioned that she is a groaner. She prays in terms of missions, holding prayer chains for communities that you do not even know and people that you do not even have an idea of is something really amazing. And everybody can actually do that.
Yes.
Okay, so moving on to the next. I know that there is a difference between missions and evangelism, and I know that you've tasted both. Do you want to explain to us what you think the difference is, if there is a difference?
Okay, the commission is go ye into the world and preach. I think your evangelism and missions, they are both intertwined because outside the fact that you are traveling for most of your trips, your mission trip in quotes, but when you get there, you evangelize.
Right.
It is the door-to-door preaching on the goodness of God
Right.
that I can term evangelism. But missions is when you travel down to another community that is not your familiar place and you go about sharing the good news. The both of them work hand in hand.
Hand in hand. And
Yes.
so we cannot separate both of
you
them.
can't. No,
yes,
they are together.
interesting. And so maybe we have 1-2 young people watching us at this time and they are saying, I don't think I have a place in missions. You know, I don't know if you want to speak to that, to just explain to people how you think that it is important and at this time and it is relevant for young people to get involved in missions.
If you have the heart of Christ, you know that that is one part where his heart really beats, reaching out to others. You cannot take that out of Christianity. No matter what you think you are, you can use your skills. I mean, nutrition is for crying out loud. When I get to the field, there might be a need where I can professionally attend to whoever the person that is in need of my help right on that field. So it is not limited to anybody, both young, old. Like we work, like my generation, while I was growing up, I found out that it was elderly people, old people that go on mission trip. Whenever you hear mission trip, I have this notion that it's meant for older people until I came in contact with this group that encourage young people to go on trips. So you are not an exception. You can do the work of God now that you are young. Because there were some trips that we went on, sitting on bike for 3 to 4 hours on bike.
Wow.
I doubt if an elderly person can do that. Do you understand? So serve God now that you are young. Because when the old age, it will catch you. Like
you can't escape it.
You can't escape it. Everybody will definitely get old. So when you stand before your God, then he opens the book. Like the Bible says that books will be open. When they open your 0 to 30 years, what will be written of you? So I think it's a call for everybody. You need to come and join us or do the best you can.
Interesting. So I know that you've been on a couple of mission trips, and for some of those trips, you had to raise money, to just get into those spaces. I know you were in Togo recently and all of that. How do you raise funds for mission trips? Because somebody might be watching and saying, the reason I'm not going to go on all this mission trip that you're talking about is I don't have the funds. Do you want to speak to that?
Yes, I would like to. I think the trip should start from your heart. What is more important to you based on priorities? Whenever they mention trips, okay, like these mission enablers, we have our itinerary for the entire year on the mission trips we are attending for the entire year and time. So when I got that in January, I had to plan. As a business person, I already know that, okay, this is what I'm supposed to save out of whatever I'm making for the year or for the week. So I have a separate account where I save my missions mobilization funds. Yes.
Wow.
So, and I also partner with a group of people that I don't think money should be my issue, number one. The art of going always make provisions, and I don't want to take away.
Always
make provision. I don't want to take God out of this whole story because it has always been Him providing.
Yeah.
Like the first mission trip in February, I told God I was going for this trip. And He made provisions. Even before the needs came, He made provision. And now, the Togo trip, I knew that I didn't have the bulk of cash to sponsor me to the trip. So I called a friend and two, and they were able to meet up with the balance. And The other trip that we are planning, I already have an account where I'm saving towards the trips. So it's not easy, but when you are willing, the Bible says you eat the good of the land.
Right.
And if you have anything you're doing, try as much as possible to give your all, and God will always support you.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Adelyn.
Thank you.
This means a lot. I mean, it shows your heart. It helps us to see that beyond just going on the trips, you are intentional.
Yes.
I mean, when somebody says I'm a business person and from whatever I make, I have a purse, that is meant for mission mobilization funds. That's amazing. Thank you for the beautiful heart that you have. So I have this very funny question, and somebody might be watching and saying, oh, maybe my next vacation, I'll just make it a short-term mission trip.
Oh, wow.
Maybe my next leave, I'll just go on vacation. Maybe if they are going to Benin Republic, I'll go on vacation, I'll go and do sightseeing and all of that. From your experience of short-term mission trip, do you think there is a difference between that and maybe a short-term trip, a regular short-term trip?
Like
what
vacation.
differentiates them?
So it is good to even have the mind of going for a mission trip with the intention to go on vacation. Okay, it's not bad in itself, but there are more weightier matters that you meet on that trip that will re-inform your mind.
Right.
When you see that you are going, like the last trip we took to Togo, we were separated. That was my first time of having two people in a team to go to a community. We usually go in number. Yes.
2 people.
Just 2 people.
Interesting.
And we went to like 5 different villages.
Wow.
2 persons. So to tell you that the laborers are few and the harvest is much. It's more than what. So when you go, like you want to go on trips and you want to like do your vacations there, no worry. The community will re-inform you. When you see the work is much, your priorities will change.
Interesting.
It's not bad though. There's always a way to come. Just come. Come as you can.
And then we'll
come
balance
as you
things.
are. When you get there, you'll know if you are going on trip or you are here for mission.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. I hear you. And I know that every other person also hears you saying that it's beyond vacation.
Yes,
it's beyond having fun. There are weightier matters. And the
yes.
Lord is waiting for us to get involved in the weightier matters.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you're a young person. I am a young person. Okay. And we are both involved in missions in one way or the other. Do you have any words of encouragement to young people out there who are listening to us or who will listen to us eventually and not really, they're not committed to this cause? Maybe for various reasons, they just feel, oh, other people should do it. It's not me. It's not meant for me. Do you have words for such people?
I want to let you know that God is waiting and banking on you. You are one porter to reach a country or a nation. As soon as you pick up the call, God will be able to do as much as He can through you. So do not allow God to raise stone in your own stead. Do not allow God to replace you when you are useful now. So I will encourage you, nothing evil is happening in any mission street. Don't think that we are like it's a death sentence or something. Most times we go for just a week or 2 weeks. It's not too much to give to your God. Someone that gave his entire life, his pride, his kingdom. He left all the luxuries for you. Just going to a nearby village or community would not hurt. So I want to encourage you. It's fun, trust me. Oh, I love road trips. And honestly, I wouldn't say that I'm among those people that went on vacay. No, I love road trips because it will even expand your mind. You see places that ordinarily you see on TV, you see them live, you experience things. And then, trust me, when you go on mission trip, your listening ability between here and heaven. No, that one for me is one thing that I always look forward to because you leave the stress of Lagos or whichever city you live. You leave the stress of all the hustle and bustle, and now you are face to face with your Creator. Most times you wake up and say, Father, what do you want me to do here? Trust me, it is one experience you cannot get enough of. You always want to see, okay, when is the next mission trip? Trust me, I've been disturbing them. Before they posted the next mission trip, I must have called more than 10 times. When is the next? Yes. It's not as if I'm jobless or something. But I think it's deeper for me. My work with God gets deeper, and it's different. Why serving God in mission trips and in the city?
Interesting.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Adelyn. I want to find out from you, having experienced a couple of short-term mission trips,
Yes, ma'am.
what experience, I mean, is there any experience that stands out for you? Maybe you want to speak about a particular community, something that happened, and that helped your heart to know that this missions thing, we pin here.
Yes. Like dealing with the teenagers. Oof. Most of these people are deprived. There are basic things that their generation had already moved past, but they are still held back in time.
Right.
Because of a big geographical location or where they didn't choose there.
Yeah.
They just found themselves, just as we are privileged to be born in cities, they were born there. So I really, if God help me, I would really want to help those teenagers. Not that I'll bring them to the city. If I have the superpower, trust me, I would. But what if we educate them, give them the basic amenities? Most of them, if they tell you how they see, for the females, how they see their monthly period and what they do, you just be heartbroken. And also, most of the communities we visited, they don't have good water system, and the conditions for them to even get access to good water, mostly for those communities that are dominated by Muslims. Oh my God, you don't want to think about it. So these are things that stood out for me, and it made me value where I came from or the privileges God has given to me. So I don't think there's a going back, and if I have the resources, I'll go in for those needs to be met.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. I sense the burden. I feel it. And I'm sure that a couple of people watching us also sense the burden and they feel it. So I understand that missions is not necessarily boring, unlike what a lot of people think. So I'd like you to share with us your experience in terms of music learned, new food you came across, and maybe music or dance as a result of your short-term mission experience.
The people are so energetic, trust me. Oh my God. When they sing like this song, my favorite, oh say yeah, oh say yeah, oh say yeah, you see them.
Right.
As in, I joined them, I can't even do myself. As in, I danced. My own dance, so different from their own, because there's this way they worship, they'll form a circle.
And dance.
So yes,
around.
they dance around, but they'll start with kids, then the women, then the men.
Wow.
That's how they dance. They do that. As soon as they raise any song, they just start, and I will join them and dance. It's fun. There's no dull moment at all. Their worship system. There's no way you'll be in church and you fall asleep. It's not possible. Irrespective of the fact that I don't hear them, but the tune is top notch. Wow. So we dance, we praise God, and we talked about the food. I think it was when I went to Nasarawa that I tasted tuwo shinkafa. So with one draw sliming thing like that. I ate it though, because we are missionaries now. We can't even say no to them. Whatever they offer, you just have to take it with smiling face. Like when they gave us one pounded yam, I love swallow, oh my God. Like they gave us pounded yam with one red thing. Wow. I don't know what that is, but I ate it with faith. But when I tasted it, was nice. Nice. Wow. So their foods are amazing. Their water, I didn't drink. So you can scratch. But no, the experiences have been amazing. Interesting. Yes. Interesting. Yes. And so that's to tell you that there is so much fun that comes with short-term mission trips. Yes. It doesn't have to be all boring and all uninteresting. Not at all. Yes. And you know that you're visiting communities where there are trees. There are many times when we're on bike, I'll just tell them, driver, I'll tell the bike man that I want to use myself. Okay. I'll go to the bush and pluck cashew. Don't tell anybody. I'll go and pluck cashew because how can I miss that? Yeah. No, this is part of my birthright though. I came there to have fun and there's no dull moment. I ate cashews and whatever fruits that are there. And these people are so generous, trust me. As soon as I say I need man, before I finish the go, there's a bag I'm busy. As in, I ate a lot. No. Wow. For the food, I usually had, like, I'm always a plus size when I come back from any mission trip.
Wow, interesting.
Honestly.
And I'm sure that's contrary to what a lot of people believe. Like when you go on mission trip, your neck is long and you're suffering and all of
We
that.
fast before we go. So when we get to the trip, we are eating. No, nothing. Just mention the thing.
Because it's a form of fellowship with the people.
Yes, it is actually. And they are kind-hearted. So they always want to give you their proceeds. They are kind. They are really, really kind. And I don't miss anything I eat.
I love your spirit because, I mean, it inspires me to want to do more in terms of short-term mission trip.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not just all about the seriousness of, oh, we're going to take the land. We're taking the land, but we're having fun with the people as we take the land. Thank you so much, Adelyn. It's been a very beautiful time with you.
Thank you.
It's not just been beautiful, it's been fun.
Thank
I could
you.
see you dance at a point, and then she said, I took some cashews, don't tell anybody. But I will tell you this as a young person watching us at this time, that there is a place for you in missions. You could start with short-term mission trips, like Adelyn did. She told me something before we started this recording, but I'm not going to get into it. But that points at the fact that when you get involved in missions, the Lord begins to drop in your heart His burden for you. Yeah. And then when you begin to bear the burden for real, from short-term missions trip, it could become something more beautiful and something bigger. But you need to start from somewhere. And so this is to tell you that there is room for you. Would you want to join us on the next mission trip? Please do. I asked the question, but I answered also. Kindly join us on the next short-term missions trip. And so it's a wrap on this episode of Young People in Missions with Adelyn. It's been a very, very bubbling and amazing moment with her in the studio. So if this episode blessed you at all, I would like you to share, I would like you to like, and I would like you to subscribe on all our social media platforms. And don't forget, let this video go on. Send it to somebody that would send it to somebody that will then send it to somebody. Stay blessed, and till I come your way again, I remain your girl, Femi Tokwe Akinrotimi. Goodbye for now.